Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Now today we're going to be having a 2-vehicle video. A few reasons for this. One is the vehicles I'm going to be showing off. I'm going to be showing off 2 tanks today. I'm going to be showing off the main battle tank Mark 6, which is the one on the right, and the main battle tank Mark 7, which is the one on the left. Now, I can already hear some people asking, well, why didn't you just do a video on the 6 if you had the 6? Or if you have the 7, what's the point of showing off the 6? I didn't do a video on the 6 because it was very close to what the 5 was. And there were so many issues that I really didn't want the episode to be me just complaining about it. And the reason I'm showing off the 6 with the 7 is because I want to show some of the changes that were made and some of the things not to do when building tanks. Because I want these to be less so of me just showing off, but giving some ideas where you guys can build your own tanks. The biggest difference between these two is the gun. The guns here, they've been ripped out of the tank. So we're going to be looking at these as well. Just a quick tour through the 6. It uses the bogie suspension that was on the 5. They are welded to the ground temporarily just to save on frame rate. Climb up on the turret, open the hatch, you come down in here. This is where your driving would be. The engines on this aren't set properly. I actually set them a bit too fast, so it is awful at driving. However, it could easily be fixed if I spent the time to fix the actual engines. So this is loaded like all of my other 3-step piston cannons. Simply put a block, put the round in, and then I forgot to load it. Load the round. At this point you can aim and fire. So aim up, let's just shoot somewhere over there and fire. And this is a much bigger cannon than what was in the Mark V. It is quite a bit more powerful, but it comes with a lot of downsides. The extra weight of the gun caused some problems with the turret, so the turret has very minimal armor so that the turret can actually function. In certain hilly areas, the gun would try and point downhill, and in some extreme cases, if it did point downhill, the engines were not powerful enough to rotate the turret, and you would be a sitting duck on the side of a hill without being able to aim your gun anywhere. And another big, huge, glaring fault of this gun is where the power supply is. The power supply is the pistons. Those are what cause the explosive force, and those are on the outside of the tank. If in a situation where we are using explosive canisters, a single hit to that would disable your tank, disable your cannon, and you would be pretty much out of the battle. So, while it did make an improvement in power over the Mark V tank, it failed in almost every other regard. So then we come over to the Mark VII. Honestly, I have to say the biggest downside so far I've seen of this tank is just how big the turret is. You can see how much taller it is, how much of a impression it makes, I guess you say. It stands out a lot more. So that is a bit of an issue, but a lot of the upsides to this overweigh that anyway. One thing I did forget to point out in the Mark VI is it does have a rudimentary aiming sight. So part of the sight's here, part of the sight's in the front of the gun. The Mark VII has a similar sight. They're early prototype sights. I plan on improving them in the future, but right now, trying to fix the guns and turrets. So anyway, just want to make a note of the sights themselves. If I jump on this, there we go. Jump on the side of the turret. Come on, let me up here. Come on, there we go. Smack the switch, and this slides open rather than rotates. Honestly, I think the rotation looks a bit cooler. And coming in here, the first thing you'll notice is it uses a very, very different cannon. The Mark V and the Mark VI used a 3-step piston cannon. This uses a bearing glitch cannon. So if anyone remembers of some of my really early cannon designs, they used bearing glitches. And they had two large spring-like apparati, I don't know what the fuck the plural is for that. But two of those on the back of the actual cannon. As the bearings would expand, there'd be some kind of block or something to keep them from moving. And then whenever you wanted to fire, you move those blockers. The bearings would spin rapidly, causing explosive force, which shoots the round. In this, rather than having those two big springs, it's replaced by two pivoting arms. And the blockers are replaced by a decoupler, which is cardboard. So if we actually just come in here, what you'll see when I press this button is these will create tension. The spud gun will fire, break the block, and then they'll explode. So let me get in a good viewing position. As good as I'm going to get. So it creates tension. There goes the spud gun, and the round goes out the chamber. And it goes really fast. Let's see. Well, it's not in the chamber, and there's a round over there. Or over there by the tree. It's might be hard to see. And one of the first things people are going to say is this is a really big gun. The main reason for that is the barrel itself does not make contact with the round. Technically, this kind of cannon doesn't need a barrel. It doesn't serve any purpose for this gun. The only reason there is a barrel on here is A, decoration, and B, to prevent a round, either an explosive canister round or a spud gun round, from flying into the cannon, make it a bit harder. If a round does go in, it could cause the cannon to fire prematurely, which would be bad, or it could cause a detonation inside the actual chamber, which would be even worse. So, while it is a big chunk for looks, part of the reason there's this barrel on here is to protect the round from getting hit by stray fire. Also, because this is a much lighter turret, the majority of it is actually made out of concrete rather than steel. The turret itself can be much better, can have much better armor. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. And is overall just a whole lot better. It's coming in this rotation, elevation, uses the same thing all my other guns do. I have something hooked up to 6, but there's nothing actually there, I just realized. Anyway. So let's get out here and let's actually compare the two cannons themselves side by side. So we've just taken a tour of the tanks. Here's the cannons. Let's fire them. Now this is the one present in the Mark 6. This would be the normal round you'd put in. Load. Fire. And that's a pretty good distance. That's not bad. But the problem is, and the problem I was faced with and kind of feel stupid for not realizing, but when we get explosive canisters, it's not going to be just a single round. There's going to be another on the front, which is going to be the canister. Best case scenario, its collision's small and it doesn't cause friction with the barrel. However, we still have to account for that weight that's going to be there. So with what we got in the game right now, this is all I can really test. So we have two of these. And this is our simulated explosive tipped round. And our distance goes down significantly. And that was a major issue. And like I said before, this is a big cannon. Like, there's a lot of pistons here. Yes, you could go bigger. Yes, you could go better in some sort. But it creates a lot of issues like your turret not wanting to rotate. You have issues with weight. You have issues with the gun not wanting to aim, trying to move if you're on hills, and all kinds of other issues. Then we come over to this. This can only fire with a 4-long round. This you can have 4, 8, whatever. Probably wouldn't fire all too well. You could fire it. This has to be 4. This is all on a single button. Charge, fire. And you can see the range we're getting here. One interesting side effect is because of where these are, this one placed here moving that way, this one placed up top moving that way, can often put a spin on the round. Not always, but sometimes you'll see the round spins, and you do get some good accuracy from that. Not always, but sometimes it is very helpful when trying to hit targets. So right away you can see the improvement in range. Just improvement in range without any doubt. Actually, I needed to delete that. So let's shoot this one with our warhead round. That was pretty good. Just barely out of our sight range. And that's out of my render distance. Right there. Yeah. And one other side effect with this cannon I have had happen a few times. It causes bearings to glitch. Not just these back here. In those cases, all I've had to do is fire the gun without a round in it. And it resets the actual firing mechanism. I've just realized this may not be the current version of the tank, because I think this has a less powerful cannon. So what you can do with these glitch bearing cannons is the power is actually determined by how many degrees the bearing is set to rotate. So a low power cannon would be 90, high power would be 360. I haven't done experiments, but I'm thinking you might be able to stack bearings. I think this is actually wrong in here. Yep. Because the game doesn't always save your bearing changes. Thank you, Scrap Mechanic. There we go. Main battle tank Mark 7. So, we've taken a tour of the two tanks, we've looked at the guns, showed them off. Now let's actually show off the Mark 7 at what I would say its full capacity is. Now unfortunately I don't have anyone to battle, which would be awesome, but let's just drive around, shoot some stuff, and have fun. I'm going to quickly delete these because the lag is not necessary. Something I forgot to mention. With the lack of pistons on this cannon, the Mark 7 has a lot better frame rate, which allows me to actually have the suspension piece suspension, which does cause some lag. You could switch that out for a bogey suspension if you had to have peak frame rates, either for bad computer or you wanted to have a lot of these on the world. Could be done. I'm going to tilt the turret. For some reason on all my tanks, when you tilt the turret, the actual frame rate increases, gets a lot better. I don't know what that is caused by, but it does. So we got good speed, got some good suspension. Real quick, you see that tree right in front of me? Let's hit it. Let's aim left. And you can see the notch in that little screw up front. Line that up with the top vertical. Aim relatively forward. And then this little notch you're seeing move on the right, the little gray notch, that is about a medium range. That's what it's preset to. Like I said before, these are very early prototype sights. That's stuck at a medium range. So I'd say that tree is twice medium range. So right about there, and we'll probably hit the base of the tree if I'm lucky and did all this right. Aim, fire. I think I hit the tree and bounced off. I didn't see where I actually hit the tree. It was much higher than I thought I was. Either that or I just phased through the tree. I'm going to go with phased through the tree on that one. That one I definitely hit to the right of, but I think it's still at the branch. Anyway, let's keep on moving. Rotate the turret a little bit to get the frame rate back. Look for another target. How about that rock right there? That rock is about medium, I'd say. And I keep hitting my Windows home button. Let's aim down. Let's get my actual sight. There we go. I think it's a little bit more than medium, but let's go for medium. And we just hit the rock. Dead square. So it was at medium according to this site, which is really nice. But that isn't the full range of this cannon. I've been only using it for rather short ranges. This cannon at full range can be used kind of like a short range, or I should say medium to long range mortar. So if I get over here to this open area and start cranking my cannon all the way up, right about there's the full length or full height of my cannon. Let's aim over this way, prepare around, and fire. And it's out of my render distance. One little side note about this, you can't actually get inside the turret, or I should say inside the cannon. So if you ever do get anything lodged in the barrel, you can easily destroy it. Just get back out. As a feature I added later on, there's really no reason for it, but I felt like it'd be cool to be able to climb through the cannon. Let's just send another round through the sky and see how far that goes. How about we do this? How about we paint this blue and pink? Fire it, and then go find it. Just a quick jog away. Oh, this is bugged. Let me just put a block down. There we go. So we're looking for a blue and pink round. I'm half tempted to grab a vehicle. This could be a good long walk. And there it is. Blue and purple. Let's go ahead and grab some barrels. And smash my keyboard to try and build a Minecraft fucking block tower. And right over there on the distant horizon is our tank. Right on my crosshair. And this is where the round lands. Ah, I fell. If you can see it in your render distance, if you can see it and it's on the same level as you are, it's not higher or lower, you can hit it. Which is something I'm really proud to say. If you can see it on the horizon, you can hit it. Because I can barely see that tank, and there's that round. So, this has been the main battle tank Mark 6 and the main battle tank Mark 5. Mark 6 was cool, it was functional, but it had so many issues. The Mark 7 was an overwhelming success. I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too, and I hope you get some inspiration from this to make some of your own tanks. The bearing glitch cannons are really easy to make and really easy to set up. They really don't need anything except for just the bearing glitch and a way to decouple the block. Just as a hint or teaser or suggestion, I guess to say. But I am going to end it here. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like, any suggestions, leave in comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe, it helps a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do want to help out this channel, please share this episode with a friend. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.